Welcome to Organic as Fuck Talk. I am Pretty B.
I'm the Lovebug.
And we have Jose. Jose, go ahead, introduce yourself.
Jose Contreras on Instagram as JC like Jesus. And the reason why is not because I'm the most holiest out here, although I'm one of. My initials is Jose Contreras, JC. That goes over a lot of people's head. Motherfuckers be calling me Jesus and shit, and people be like thinking, "Are you comparing yourself to Jesus?" Well, not really. We got the same initials. That's not my fault. That's just what that was.
Right on. We gotta do our vibe of the day. So my vibe of the day, which I already introduced, was some Canaline. I had to get on Jose hype because watch me, y'all see his vibe of the day. And also, y'all know I love the baby hairs. Y'all know I keep them laid. I just ordered a new product, Black Foam by Arcani, and it's called Enthroned Edges. They do the whole no rub challenge, and it really do work, y'all. It no rub.
That's what's up.
Oh. In my other vibe, y'all know I always do a song. My other vibe, because yesterday I was chilling and riding and running some errands, and I thought of this, but I was so grateful. I was in a moment of gratitude, but I'm like, this hyped me up. Then it came on today, and I was like, this remind me of this vibe. It's a fun vibe. It gets you juice. It reminds me of Jose.
That's just something they know. They know. I
don't know why I thought of that when I was like, we doing these 21 questions with Jose. And I was like, cause your energy is always so high. And that song make me juice.
Thank you.
So look, my vibe of the night is a spray for your aura. It cleanses your aura, lifts your vibe. It's called Laugh Away. It's by Holistically Hilarious. And it's basically one of them little vibe boosters, using the herbs, right, in oil form. It's got some crystals in there too. And if you want to pick up your aura real quick, you just spray it around, and you really feel relief. The herbs that are in here, inhaling them makes you take it in, and it's just automatically like, whew, if you're getting ready to meditate, getting ready to go into an interview, whatever it is, I've been finding this very refreshing with just cleansing the aura, especially being around energy snatchers and stuff like that. It's like that bitch away spray, like
bitch bye.
Real quick.
Yeah.
But now, is that one, that's THC too, or is this a different kind of herb?
It's no THC in this, different type of herbs for herbs that you actually, well, you can eat that herb too, but the other ones.
Yeah.
Which will still give you that same good feeling like the herbs we take in the day.
Okay. I'm gonna have to try that shit. Hell yeah.
Yeah, so that's definitely my vibe of the night. Jose.
What's your vibe, Jose? Let us know.
Firstly, I'm so upset I can't play no music because I'm on my phone right now. But if I had to choose a song, there's so many that come to mind. As of late, I've really been stuck on Tyler, the Creator's latest album. He got a song on there called Sweet / I Thought You Wanted to Dance. It's about a 10-minute song. It's got him singing on it. Brent Fires comes in. And I'm not sure who else is on it, but that motherfucker there, it's a beautiful song. Look that up. That's damn near the song of the summer for me. Look that one up. Other than that, good old Mary Jane, and that's also, you can add that to my song list too. Shout out to Rick James, rest in peace. But yeah, this right here, I use a cone. I don't know how to roll. I do not know how to roll, and I'm too lazy to learn. But I also I try to justify the laziness by thinking to myself, you know what? I don't need to learn too much, because the more you learn, it seemed like people damn near start turning it into crack and shit like that. Like I told you about the synthetic lean, and they got weed crystals now. You like, okay. Or it even starts with what's that shit? Wax. And no disrespect to you waxers, but y'all out here tripping. Because it's like, hold on, what just happened to the flour in some sort of wrap? And the cone just solves that problem for me. It's little dust that I got to sprinkle in here. But you feel me? Like, and but I do like, I like Dutchess a lot, as well as backwoods are cool. I don't know how to roll either, but I appreciate if somebody rolls a good one. Backwoods, I know very few people who roll a good tight backwood. But that's a lot of weed to waste too. I'm not wasting all my weed.
So we about to jump into these 21 questions because y'all know we got Jose here, and we about to get in all his business. We about to just jump into business. And let me tell you how organic this show is. This is our first time actually doing this. I have not seen Lovebug's questions, and nor has she seen mine yet.
Yeah. So
So this is gonna be
really
fun.
On getting to know you.
Oh shit! Let's go.
Okay, so question 1.
Oh shit!
Describe yourself with one word and why. Like, why did you choose that word?
Passionate. I'm just a passionate, high energy individual, and passion goes in many directions. It's almost like water, you feel me? It shapes to whatever you direct it at. And I think that throughout my life, probably the most consistent thing about me has been passion.
So the Lovebug always wants the guest to define love.
That's I don't think that I'm quite sure as to what an answer for that is. Love is a concept that is kind of in recent years I've kind of been nonchalant about. It's kind of just been not a focus of mine. Different variations, different levels of it and whatnot. Find out what it means to you, and then go ahead and go after that. You feel me?
Right.
Okay. How do you express self-love? Like love for yourself? What does that look like when you're doing that?
Smoking is a form of it to an extent. I'll go and I'll do something that I enjoy. Now, sometimes I can overindulge and do something that maybe I shouldn't be doing in the moment for any kind of reason, whether it be finances, whether it be prioritizing, so on and so forth. But for me, I'll go and I'll give myself the act of service as well as talk to myself, which is an act of service as well. Talk to myself kindly, put on music that makes me feel good about myself. I feed myself almost like a sunflower, if you will. You feel me? I feed myself the energy that I need to be able to make my own environment conducive to growth. Okay. I got the job. Hey, if this is an interview, I just got the job right there. Damn, okay, all right. That's it right there. I got the job. Thank you.
Where were you born and or raised?
Oh my God, such a beautiful question and interesting. I was born in Hayward, California. 2 great people born in St. Rose Hospital in Hayward, California. The Rock and Jose Contreras. That's a fact. Born in Hayward, and then kinda,
that's my birthday twin.
For real? See what I'm saying? Man. I was born there, and then I went to San Leandro schools. Every school I went to was a San Leandro school. I didn't always live in San Leandro. I lived in San Leandro, then I think I may have lived in Hayward. I lived in San Lorenzo for some time. And even did a stint in Hawaii. So in terms of like where I'm from and shit like that, if somebody asks where you rep, I kind of really don't like. I don't feel like I never really felt like San Leandro is my home. I never really felt like San Lorenzo is my home. It's just where I'm at the moment. You feel me?
What is the first text you sent out today?
I believe the first text that I sent out today was a screenshot from Huddle, which is an app that's used in sports and football in particular, where you watch film of past events, past activities or games or whatever.
That's what's up. We didn't get all in his business, y'all. We probably should have last night.
That was the first.
But I will ask, how old were you when you started having sex?
I first got head when I was 13, and then I didn't have actual sex until 18.
Oh, wow. So just a random head moment.
It was a few times. I love changing.
Yeah, I was gonna piggyback that question and say, how many times did you get hit in between then and 18?
It literally was probably a handful, like one hand. It was from my then girlfriend, who ended up apparently she was ahead of her time. She ended up going on and fucking like a 28-year-old or something, like, or 20, excuse me, like a 22-year-old at 14.
He said apparently she was ahead of her time. I don't even know how to deal with him.
This interview.
True story. No, you know what I hate? You know what I hate though? I've seen bruh at the movies before, right? I'm with a homegirl or whatever, and he was like with somebody, and he looked back, right? Like with a smirk on his face, as if like he was just telling, like, yeah, I snatched his bitch. And I'm like, blood, you were 22. She was 14.
That's
so
crazy.
that was like 2 years ago that happened. And I was like, bro, I was 26 at that. What the fuck is wrong with you? He was in your 30s. Like, what's wrong with you?
If your life was made into a movie, which actor would you have play you and why?
This is a very interesting question. I recently was thinking about doing like if I had a sitcom, who would I want in it? And this is related, but first off, Freddie Prinze Jr. is somehow going to be like a grandpa or some shit like that, because I want to tap into his Latino side. That's my dude, you feel me? And he was Latino this whole time, and they kind of dressed him like he was white. So I want to redeem him. And George Lopez did that a little bit. Then I would have S.A. Morales, Lulu from Paid in Full, or Bob from La Bamba. I'd have him in there too. I'm gonna have all the OG Latino. I might even have Machete in there and shit, just because. But in terms of who's gonna play me, if I could somehow, I have S.A. Morales.
What is something that you would want everyone to know about you?
Oh, I'm a secretive individual. Not secretive, but private, rather. I guess something that I make everybody know about me is that I'm a hard worker, which in turn leads to some form of respect, even though it may not always be full respect. It's always some form.
If you could be a cartoon character, what would you be and why?
Just in general, I'd have to be like Batman or Iron Man. Just and low-key Iron Man, because he's very witty, you feel me? And he was like, man, what y'all I got money, fuck y'all. Batman though, because people piss you off, and Batman like, man, fuck these people, but somebody gotta save them, you know what I'm saying? Like, but then it's also, it fucked me up that the internet got on him. Is like, well, his superpower was white privilege. I was like, that's true. That is fuck. Ruined Batman for me.
How did the pandemic affect you? Still kind of going, but 2020 was more so like the heavier part of it. I think we've made adjustments, but
yeah, 2020 was the real what the fuck.
Yeah.
We might be heading back there. Who knows?
Right.
But honestly, to an extent, the seclusion helped me, because I like to be alone in general. I just hated that certain things that I would do alone closed on me, like the movies and shit. I think it did me well, man. I was real focused. Yeah. I was already going through it before the pandemic, searching for employment out here in the Bay Area, where good jobs only get given to certain people more often than not. So I was really struggling trying to find a job.
I've seen posts of your beautiful child, and you with your child, which is beautiful. And so, what is some advice you would give other fathers, like young, old, whatever? What is some advice that you just being a dad, and you're young too, being a dad, So,
well, thanks for rubbing it in, but
I can't wait, y'all.
I'm still learning it, man. It's still surreal to me. It's I don't necessarily think that I have any advice. I would say that the best advice I could give is, when you are a dad, there are many, 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 many fucking opinions about you and what you do that will be offered to you, that you will come across. It's very important to stay in tune with who you are and decide based on how you feel about you and who you know yourself to be, what opinion you have. And don't let any other outside opinion influence your opinion in one way or another.
So I want to have an extra question, like, what keeps you grounded?
Yeah.
I don't know. I be thinking about that, if it's upbringing, if it's having played sports, what is it that has me with the perspective that I have and with the certain disciplines that I have and don't have, and I honestly don't know. It's a plethora of things. It's a combination of things.
What's the craziest sex experience you have ever had?
In terms of like just enjoyable crazy, a threesome. That was cool.
What is your favorite sex position and why?
I think I'm basic in the sense that I do love doggy style, but there's different variations of doggy style. You feel me? And there's different actions. I do like just in general. I like a very active sexual partner. A lot of I'm an advocate for the truth, which is that not all pussy is good pussy. There's a lot of lazy pussy out there, and I like pussy that's active during intercourse because it's fun. It's
When did you realize that you were funny?
I think I was always funny throughout school, and in typical fashion, it was defense mechanism to an extent. With a lot of motherfuckers making fun of the way I look, in particular my eyes and my nose and my teeth used to be fucked up, but they didn't. Ironically, they didn't really say much about those. It was just the nose and the eyes. And then I got, braces and shit. And it was like, now you can't say nothing, bitch. But yeah, I would start snapping back. And I would always talk shit though. I was always like the younger one in my family amongst cousins and shit like that. So I was treated as a runt to an extent. And it got to the point where, y'all can beat me up, but I'm gonna talk my shit though. Fuck y'all. Cause I'm dealing with teenagers and I'm a little ass boy. So like, hey, fuck y'all. And then that translated into school, like everybody, like, okay, I want to crack jokes about X, Y, and Z. Let's crack some jokes.
Is Jose Contreras single, in a relationship, or complicated, or situationship?
I like that you gave the complicated.
Because there's so many variants of things out right now. So
I put it to you this way. I'm a baby daddy. So whatever that is to y'all, that's what I am. Like Eminem said, you feel me?
I like the answer Jose basically said. It's complicated and mind y'all goddamn business. Okay.
I mean, but inquire with him. No.
Inquire in minds though.
It depends on who asks you. No. How do you feel about the women of today?
I think people of today are conditioned to thinking that online is the real world. And there's a battle between those who think like online and those who think by themselves and then get online. And I think that right there is just the divide that there is between men and women.
What is your favorite song lyrics and why?
Oh, fuck. It's probably going to be something Kanye. House in the Hill, 2 doors, some Tracy Ross. And I'm asking about her girlfriends, the dark-skinned ones. They asking about the speedboats. I admit, we rented them. When you meet me in person, what do you feel like? I know, I look better in real life.
I'm just going to say, I would love to hear about the first time that you had an edible.
So, I don't know if it was my first time. It was my, I don't know. I may not remember the first time, and this may be it. I don't recall. This was my negative experience though. I had the edible. I was trying to get high. I was going to a homegirl's birthday party. She did at her house every year. Ironically, she's in Vegas now, I think. She would do at her house every year, and I had known her since kindergarten. And her dad is somebody that I really kind of looked up to just because I had known him, throughout this whole time, and he's always been a solid dude. And I wanted to get high a little bit. And at her party every year, people are getting drunk, and there's always somebody to get kicked out for throwing up or some shit, right? Because they're just like way too fucking on. I show up. As soon as I show up, somebody's getting kicked out. My dad, I think, I met with him earlier in the day, and I was like, "You got anything?" Because my pops be having shit. And he was like, yeah, here. And this motherfucker reached into his pocket, he pulled out a cookie. No wrapper, just a cookie. Just a cookie out of his pocket. Jean pocket at that. And I'm like, all right, well, I don't have nothing else, I guess, so I'm trying to get high. I'm probably like 22 at the time or some shit like that. I was like, you ain't got a bag or nothing for it, Pop? Yeah, motherfucker reaches into the console, pulls out a dirty looking bag. This is a fucked up situation from the get-go. So I'm like, all right, no info on dosage, no nothing. And it's only like a half. It ain't even the full. Or if it was the full, I might have ate a little under half. Ate it, get there. I'm talking shit. I start getting in the mode. I'm roasting everybody. I did the coldest one that we had a dude named Tum Tum in the crew, and he got chubby cheeks. He's a dude, chubby cheeks, and he had his little like bangs, curls, and shit like that. And I'm just going down the line, roasting and whatever. And I'm like, Tum. This is at the time a more acceptable joke, but at the time I'm like Tum Tum out here looking like a dyke. And then everybody just and I was man, I had Tum Tum fucked up. Shortly after that, I start like feeling it. I'm like, ooh shit, I'm high as fuck. And I'm like, yo, Jose, don't throw up. I'm telling myself in my head, do not throw up right now. That would be fuck. Don't do that. And I start talking to her dad about, his name is Mr. Robinson. I'm like, Mr. Robinson, I know you get tired of these kids every year throwing up in your shit. We get to a long conversation about comedy, Richard Pryor, all kinds of shit. The next thing you know, after a while, I can't take it no more. I keep telling myself, don't throw up. I'm getting hot. I'm getting bothered. I end up throwing up in a trash can in the kitchen. Ugh, all up in that motherfucker. I'm throwing up literally for the period that I'm throwing up, and it's not a full throw up, it's stop, throw up. It's about 45 minutes. I'm in the kitchen. I start off, I'm on one knee in the kitchen, and then homegirl, she joked, she was like, yeah, Jose was in there hitting the Tim Tebow, and this was the time when Tim Tebow was in the NFL and doing his thing. So I was on one knee throwing up, and then I ended up sitting on my ass throwing up, and I ended up having to get a ride home. And I remember being in the back seat of my own car, having that same homegirl drive me home. And I'm like, man, I was embarrassed. I'm like, I'm giving up comedy. I'm never doing this again. Oh my God. Like, I'm really just embarrassed. Like, I can't believe I came in here and embarrassed myself like that. First time ever.
You know how now they are trying to hold comedians to a different standard? Like, how do you feel about that? Like, you know how they say, like, you got to be more sensitive with the type of jokes that you make, and, you know, how do you feel about that?
It's tough to an extent because it's like, fuck, bro. Like, even saying the word dyke right there, that's one of my favorite words because it's just like Arab and Pakistan. It's a harsh word that comes out, and it's the tone of it when you say it, the way I say it at least, it's funny. But it's like, and growing up, one of my coolest friends, like I'm about to pull a white people, I'm friends with dykes, but one of my coolest friends, her name was Q, and we used to, the dyke didn't bother her not one bit, you feel me? A lot of people in the Bay, you know, that I grew up with that would classify as that's a different type of lesbian. A dyke ain't a dyke ain't no butch. That's a white woman term. A dyke ain't no butch. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I think they turned that too.
So, but then keeping it race, I think a lot of the cancellation shit is very race based, and I think that a lot of times people end up falling for the okie doke where a white artist or something like that, or not even an artist, excuse me. A lot of times it's the people who are the denouncers, the ones who decide, yo, hey, get them out of here. 9 times out of 10, they're not representative of the people who they're getting out of there. And then it's like feminism, it's like LGBTQ, the movements. I don't fuck with them, not for what they stand for, but they're white movements. They are white. Feminism is a white movement in terms of on the same thing with how I talked about Telemundo. You have on the global scale, like on mainstream, and then you have in a niche market. They don't when it comes to feminism and LGBTQ movements as a whole, they really have a niche market that's represented by whites. All 9 times out of 10, they're the spokespeople for it, and oftentimes a lot of shit is manipulated. I feel to the point where you don't want to hear certain type of jokes, but you'll hear other jokes and they're allowed to be edgy because of who they are. And it's not, it don't work that way. It doesn't work that way at all. So a lot of it is manipulation. A lot of it is agenda type shit. It feels like oftentimes.
Name one achievement that you are most proud of yourself.
One thing that was cool was some years back, I threw a show at Tommy T's. Very nervous about the outcome because it gets difficult trying to get people to come out, especially when you're not famous, when you're not well known, when you don't have a huge following yet and shit like that. People don't give a fuck about you until other people give a fuck about you. That's the reality. I was throwing a show at Tommy T's. It was the Wednesday before Thanksgiving. I was almost talked into not doing it because it was like, we don't know how it's gonna go. We kind of, we've had so shit there, and I threw it. Really worked hard. Got some help with some promotion. Another comic, spoke about it on the radio the day of, and then I was just promoting. Ended up getting about 200 people there that night. George Wallace ended up stopping in and doing a guest set, and I speak to George Wallace to this day every now and then. This is about 3 years ago or so like that. And it felt dope to have so many fucking people come out.
We usually close each show with some sort of affirmation or advice. Do you have anything that you would like to share with our Organitics?
Go ahead and just try to focus on what's in your control. Everything else, can't really do nothing about it.
That's what's up.
Yeah, we definitely had fun today. We had so much fun today.